Good morning, everybody. It's Judith A. Cole. You're listening to Mad Love. Let's get into it. So, last night I was watching The Pitt, which I hate now that I've caught up because I have to watch it, as it comes out, as opposed to what I like to do, which is binge watch. But I made it through the first season pretty quick, and then I caught up to the present. And I honestly don't know what's going to happen. I think we only have like one or two more episodes left of this season. And Dr. Robbie looks like he's about to snap or is snapping. The person who's supposed to replace him for the next 3 months, she seems like there's something wrong with her too. And you look at the pace of, and then another dude snapped last night. So it's like, you look at the pace. And I, too, have had a serious job that was unrelenting. So part of the reason why I had to leave the office of the prosecutor was because I worked there during really a very tumultuous time. Crime hasn't slowed down, but we were catching up after COVID. So we were slammed from like 2021. Because I don't think we were in the office for 2020, which I now know COVID is some sort of horrible psyop and some game they've all played on us. I really believe that, because what kind of virus, you create a vaccine in no time and then the vaccine doesn't work. You can still get it even after you've been vaccinated twice. Like, what are we doing? And how gullible are people? And they sort of forced us to get it, or you had to go through a series of really bizarre things. And it's like we were already behind. So I think the majority of us just took the stupid vaccine. So, and I was worried about my mom because that was the age group that seemed to just be dying. And I didn't want to bring home COVID to her. But she was a tank. She had some of the best immunity I've ever seen. Anyway, we were slammed. So 2021, 2022, 2023, I was working and caregiving at the top. It was just like the eye of a hurricane type of thing. Like I was busy at work. I come home. My mom was not quite herself. Then she stopped sleeping. Then it became, we don't sleep. And then it became violent. Then it became hospice. And while I was doing all of that, I was also working full time in a very busy prosecuting attorney's office with a lot of violent crimes. I don't know if I've ever shared this publicly, but I may have, but I was on just below the executive tier when the person who hired me lost his election. And the person came in, I made him very insecure. He was very triggered by me because I was a woman who dared tell him what I could see he didn't know. He had never had media training, and you could tell. I have a master's degree in media communications. I have a film degree. I've studied this area of communications probably at that point, 20 years at least. So, but he was an insecure little fella, and he just did not appreciate. There were times in the first few weeks he would look at me and just roll his eyes like, ugh. And I would be like, look, you're doing a good job. You're winning the week, but you need to do X, Y, and Z. And at some point he just, I don't know, he probably talked to his mom or something. And he just got this attitude like, well, I don't need her help. I know what I'm doing. I know my message or whatever. And he demoted me. And in county government, you don't lose your money, but you lose your position. They move you out. So, like I told you, he put me underneath this very unstable woman who I think she ran his campaign. She's one of many people who said she ran his campaign. And I think she got the job as gratis because he didn't pay her. And she had come off of a commune. Yeah, I'm not kidding. She came from a commune where she was the accountant or the co-accountant, and they had their own currency. And she put this on LinkedIn. So that was essentially going to be her first real job. And she was made my supervisor, and she took my job. And it was just ridiculous. So, I just made up another job because I'm a filmmaker. So I made up a whole nother unit, and I want to thank all the prosecutors who helped me with that. But it was very stressful. I went from the frying pan to the fire because I put myself on the trial team. And when they had a deadline, I had a deadline. When trial was going, I was trying to make sure that I was finished by the first day of trial. And that was exceedingly stressful. So, and I worked on the cases that normally go to trial. So we're talking murders, child molester cases, some of the worst assaults, things that people think they have a shot at fighting, or they feel like they want to have their piece, say their piece about it. And it's it's challenging. People who want to tell you or try to prove to you that they didn't really do anything. I've worked on some really interesting cases, and it's like, we got you dead to rights. We got all the evidence in the world. Why you think you can fight this and win? I feel like you're just stalling because you don't want to go to prison. But it was an interesting time, and I worked very hard on those cases, and a lot of those victims and their families, it's rough. It's hard work. It's a lot like his ER job, that ER in the show. You're stressed out. You're afraid for people. You're concerned for people. You're defending and protecting people because some of these people are violent. Like, they've done an excellent job on that show, The Pitt, portraying how violent the emergency department can be, how violent the hospital can be, because a lot of people, are mentally unstable, and they come in and they're ready to fight and punch and kick, and and it's the same in the jail system. You got a lot of people who are mentally unstable. The dude that was in my stairwell, there's clearly something not right with him. And what do you do? As a society, there's no place to put these people. And if you're over 18, you have the right to never stay in a facility, which seems crazy to me. Right? You're fine with letting these people just walk around and attack regular citizens because you don't want to deal with their mental illness when they're clearly disabled by it. They're not going to be productive citizens. So when I say I understand the gravity that they're portraying on the show, I do. I get it. These are life and death decisions. It's a crisis. It feels like it's a crisis. It looks like a crisis. And, the pressure, if you're a serious person and you're taking it seriously, you feel the pressure. And I don't know. I just feel like, I don't think Robbie's going to make his road trip, and he probably should go into some real therapy. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure why none of these people are in therapy. And that is a crazy pace to keep every day. That is a crazy pace to keep. But there are people who work like that. There are people in your prosecutor's office, in your emergency rooms, in prisons, in jails. They are understaffed and overworked and underpaid. And when I say things like, I don't understand how football players, so like yesterday, I like Kirk Cousins. I like football. He gets a 5-year, $172 million contract. Do you know how much a public servant would love something like that, or somebody who works in the hospital who's not a surgeon? You know what I mean? Like, who decided these pay scales? What is it that Kirk Cousins could possibly do that's worth that kind of money? And I like Kirk Cousins. And this is like his third giant contract when everybody said he wasn't worth the money. When he left the Redskins, and they were still the Redskins then. When he left there and went to Minnesota and signed that giant deal, everybody was like, why is he getting so much money? Then he signed another giant deal when he left Minnesota and went to Atlanta. Now he just signed another giant deal. And it's like, I love football, but why do they make so much money? That's insane. They make all of that money, and I know the logistics as to why, but I don't understand why. When somebody who works just as hard, if not harder, will never ever have a chance at that kind of money. There's nothing a woman can do to get a contract like that. And even that, yeah. I know you've heard about all these OnlyFans women. They're not making that kind of money. You can't be a porn star. There's nothing you can do as a woman to get that kind of money. Why men hate women, I don't know. And I don't care what you say. That's what it boils down to. And if you talk long enough to certain men, you'll see what I'm saying. They hate women. They don't think we deserve money. They don't think we're equal to them in any way. And I get it. There's shit that a man can do that I cannot do. I accept that, and I'm fine with it. I don't want to be a man. But pay me fairly for what I can do. That really bothers me. And today is Good Friday, so, I went to a lot of Catholic school. And, say what you want about the Catholics. I wasn't a Catholic by religion, but I definitely went to their schools from K to 12, and I really developed, it is very dogmatic, don't get it twisted, and they indoctrinate, but I got a very good education, and it really gave me a very strong center, for a foundational center spiritually. And I can't believe Easter's already here, but it's a good time for a comeback. It's a good time for a comeback. I don't know. There are a lot of stressed out people. I guess I'm saying, everybody probably knows somebody who's super stressed at their job. I've had a stressful job. I've had terrible bosses. I get it. But, we're in a very unique time in history where everything looks like it's falling apart, and it is. But that also means that it's the beginning of something. Eventually, we're going to get to the place where we can build everything back better for humanity, not just a few select people. I don't understand these salaries. I don't understand how you can work on a team, and as a woman, you're the only one that doesn't get paid the same. And you have to find this out and then go ask for more money. I just pray for justice. I pray for peace. I pray for a release from all of this evil, from misogyny. I pray for humanity's resurrection. All of us. We can all be better. And it all starts with just being kind. There are good people and there are not good people. That's it. This bullshit with these political parties, that's made up. I just had a dream where I told somebody to their face, I was just screaming at them. I'm like, this is bullshit. Both parties are corrupt as hell. And if you don't see it, you're brainwashed. And you are. I worked for a dirty Democrat. He didn't care. He would flip parties in a minute if he could. He was for himself. And that's it. Period. So when you see it up close and you see it up close and they think they're fooling everyone, it's very, very performative, and it's very disturbing because that means all of it's just a game. They say whatever they need to say to get elected, and then they spend the rest of the time shitting on us and not defending us and not really caring about us. And they do things that are strictly performative, and that's it. And I'm praying that we resurrect. When they move the stone away, that there is a new ascension for all of us, not just these crazy demonic bloodline families and banks that have ruined society. I just ask every day that I'm delivered from evil, that we're all delivered from evil. And I hope that you do that too. Because this has been, this has been overly dramatic. Being a human should be a beautiful experience. Being able to sit at your leisure, have a cup of coffee, collect your thoughts, pray, meditate, begin your day. Like, not enough of us get a chance to do that. We're on a hamster wheel and we need off. We want off. And so I pray for that. I pray for the ascension of humanity, because it's ascension season and we've earned it. Please take care of yourselves. Be great this Good Friday. Love and light to everybody. Thank you for listening. And my goal is, do I want to be the number one podcast? No, I want to be a filmmaker. But if I happen to help people along the way and you find value in this podcast and you share it and it becomes number one, I can live with that. Because my goal is to not get rich and famous from this podcast. My goal is to help as many people be encouraged as possible, because these are discouraging times. So I don't want you to be discouraged. I want you to be encouraged, because God is in control and the only way out is through. So we got to keep going. Take care of yourselves. Have an amazing weekend. Happy Easter, whatever that means to you. But to me, it means it's time to resurrect in kindness, in love, in excellence, not perfection. I don't expect perfection from anybody. I don't think God expects perfection, but we expect excellence and we expect effort. And we can do that. Take care of yourselves.